Hey, this is Allie Edwards, and today I wanted to bring you a closer look at a Project Life spread that I'm putting together. This is for a spread from last year. It's actually week 25, which is June 18th to the 24th of 2018, and I have just a couple of spreads left of the first half of 2018, and then more spreads left for the second half of 2018. And I generally just kind of work on these when I have some extra time. I often will do one in the StoryKit subscription classroom. So if you're a subscriber there, every month I include a Project Life spread from 2018 using the products in the kit. What I want to do with this one is I want to just kind of use up some of my supplies, right? Looking at the products that I already have, what can I use to tell the story here? With most of my Project Life spreads in this 12 by 12 size, I have all the photos printed first. So I often will batch print a bunch of my photos all at the same time. So I'll sit at my computer, I print here at home. I'm using an Epson PictureMate PM400, and I'll just go for 10 weeks, and I'll print out all the photos, and then I have them already in the page protectors and ready to go for whenever I have an opportunity to go ahead and work on it. So I don't even remember when I actually printed the photos for this one. It was probably quite a while ago. But let's go ahead and looking down here, you can see that I did print some of them with white borders on them, and that is one of the options that you can do with that PictureMate. And I have some cards here. These are actually the ones that were released last summer. We don't have these available physically anymore, but you can get the digital version of these designs if you like the designs there. Some summer, some just basic storytelling. There's 4x6, and then there's also 3x4 that had like summer vibes, and then these cute around here family time, which actually maybe I'll use these. These may work really well in here, and maybe let's see how many of those I can add in here. And what I'm kind of thinking as I'm looking at this is I may be able to take some of these photos that I've already put, these 3x4 photos that I've already printed out and put in here, and trim them and then actually add them onto the cards. So sometimes it's awesome to think about the fact that 3x4 cards are a great home for journaling, but that you can also put a photo directly on them. So that might be something to consider here. A little more challenging with the full body people, but for these other ones I probably could. And then these could go in around here like that. So let's actually go ahead and do that. I like this idea where literally it would be something like this going on here, and then it would trim off, right about there. That'll give that a little bit of space. I can stamp the date on there if I want to. Let's see, go ahead and look at this looks like. So it's just another way of looking at using your journal cards there. And you can adhere these down. Yeah, I think this is cute. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I wondered if I wanted to keep with the same, the font style that I used on this one, I could easily use this card up there, but I might want to just go something like this one even. That would be fine too, and then I'll stamp the date on there, which is something that I always do. So let's see what else we've got. Family time. I was thinking maybe that could go down there. Okay, so I am just going to go ahead and pull some of these out, and I think that this could go right on here. Actually, adventure could go over here to talk about that family time one, and these sweet peas could go right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just work through this initial process of getting those things set in place there, and then you can just follow along here, and I'll talk it through just using the top-down camera there with the other things that I go ahead and add on. All right, so the process here is pretty simple in terms of trimming those photos and then using the rolling adhesive to attach the photos onto the bottom. You can definitely create this same look yourself, even if you didn't have these journal cards, with maybe a stamp set or some other You could even use letter stickers or something like that. The idea being creating 3x4 cards that have titles on the top that are matching, or keeping the same repetitive look across your spread, with a photo down below. So totally something that you could do. You could also make the photos smaller, and give yourself a little bit of room even for some additional journaling down on the bottom. So lots of different ways you can approach this. I simply added the date up onto that 4x6 card. If you are following along for the first time with me, if this is your first video watching me work through Project Life here, I've been doing Project Life since I think 2010, and this year for 2019, this is the first year that I'm not doing it in the 12x12 size. I'm actually approaching it monthly instead of weekly. So you can check out my other videos for that if you want to see how I'm doing it on a monthly basis in a 9x12 size. But I do have weeks from 2018 and probably a couple of years, other years. There's some mixed in there that do have spreads that I need to go back into. So that's what I'm sharing here. I just use the phrases roller stamp that you can grab on my website to add a secondary sentiment underneath those titles. So I just picked something else that went along with it. I'm using StazOn as my ink. That's the ink that I grab most often. It's a black. You can use it on photos. You can use it on any different kind of surface. It's really the one that I reach to the most. I have colorful inks. I use them sometimes, but I really prefer the StazOn probably in the end. It's just a simple and easy choice. And I am one of those people that has no problem and actually welcomes limited choice, because I feel like I get more done and not having to spend my time thinking about what am I going to choose for this? So you can see that I'm just handwriting some journaling onto that family time card. It's about a day that we went to the lake, kind of celebrating getting to be together, celebrating summer. It was really warm and beautiful that day, and we had a bunch of new floaties that we got and took those out there. So that was really fun. So just one shot from that. I mean, that's a good example of a time where I probably took more pictures, but in this sort of documentation, I'm just adding one picture in there, which is enough to tell a little bit of the story, a little bit of the slice of life at this point in time in our lives. I also came back in and underlined that card. I really like underlining when I handwrite stuff, so you'll see that often with the projects that I put together. Next up, I grabbed some fabric circles. These were a recent add-on option for subscribers of my Stories by the Month kits, and these are really fun fabric circles. I think the first time that we've done them with handwriting on them in this way, and I really like how they turned out. We did them in black and white, so you can really add them onto any project, regardless of whether you're working with a specific color scheme. I just went ahead and used all of them here on the spread, and that's one thing, one tip that I have too, is I think sometimes we get cool embellishments that we like and we're like, oh my God, these are so great, I love them, and then we don't want to use them because they're so great, or we use one of them and then we're saving the other ones for a rainy day. One of the things that I like to do is actually go for like quantity, like let's use all of those embellishments on this one spread, and then I've used the product, and the product is actually helping move the story along, and I'm getting use out of it, and that makes me happy. So there's a little bit about how I've used some of those product things. I'm also going into my box of chipboard there. So chipboard from lots of different story kits and other products that we have offered, other chipboard products. It's one of my favorites that I come back to over and over again, and just added those on to a couple of my photos. I'm using a Micron pen to add a couple sentiments onto a photo of Anna and Audrey there, and then just slipping that back in. It's a simple and easy way to add a little bit of an embellishment to your photos, this idea of writing directly on them. So I wrote on that one, which was Anna's teacher last year. And then I'm not really going to do much more than this. Actually, I think I do write in a white pen. This is a Posca paint pen, and I'll link all these below. That's great for writing on dark photos. It's one of my favorites to grab there and go ahead and use. All right, that's a wrap for week 25 in Project Life 2018. Check back again for more projects and subscribe if you like seeing these videos here on YouTube.